Hello, hello, everyone. Good morning. Happy Monday. Happy Monday. If you are off today from your 9 to 5 due to President's Day that we celebrate in this awesome country. Good morning. I'm Teresa from Teresa's Spot for Art, and welcome to Crafter's Choice today on the Crafty Bunch. If you are watching on my page, this is an all-day event. I am kicking it off today, and we are going to have, I think, at least 8 other creatives on today. I'm painting on a sled. I'm going to put it together for you guys just so you see what it looks like, but then I'm going to take it apart so I can paint on it. Let me turn you guys around and we will get started. So, how is everyone today? I got to tell you, yesterday was a lazy day. I know this has paint on here. I don't care. I'm actually painting. This was on one side, which I never finished. This says Joy. Maybe I'll finish that later. So this is Joy. This is one side of the sled. I am painting this side of the sled today, and I'm going to show you how it goes together. The runners have been painted black. These sleds are from, no, that way. Diverse Woodworking. I have kits on my website with a few designs that you can get. I believe this is one of them that I'm painting today. I'm actually doing this at an in-person class tomorrow. These pop right in. Sometimes once you paint it, it's a little tricky because paint gets in the holes, and that's how snug they fit. But there you go. I popped it together, and then the runner, I broke this one. So the runner goes on top like this. And look at that. I wonder if I can back you guys up a little bit. Every time I try and do the remote, see? Every time I try and do the remote, I mess up. Let's see if we can get it back. Extra camera, add camera. I shouldn't even touch this. There we go. Shouldn't even touch it. Sorry for that, you guys. That's a long way. I know. Every time I touch the remote, I mess something up. So you know what? I'm going to pretend I lost it. Anyway, so here's the sled. Isn't that cool? So I'm going to pop it apart. We're going to get painting. Okay. So how is everyone? You hop on. Let me know. Thank you, Cheryl. Thank you, Mama P. Actually, I can't get this apart now. Okay, I'm not going to worry about it. So I have out some white, some baby blue, and some, I guess this is true blue. And I'm going to load my brush with white, and I'm going to pick up some of the blue. And I have just easily sketched on here. This is going to be a cabin. And I have just sketched on the cabin, and I'm going to come in here. I'm going to paint all around it with some of this blue and white paint. I'm going to paint around the whole thing. And then we'll come back. I'm going to show you what we're going to do. So how is everyone today? What's going on? How was your weekend? Do anything fun, exciting? When I started out, I said yesterday was the laziest day for us. I did, in fact, the most productive thing I did yesterday was trace out 25 of these sleds because I'm doing an in-person class on these tomorrow at one of my local libraries. It's a teen event. If you live here in the Northeast, we have winter break this week. So our kids are off from school. It's usually a big vacation week as well, but a lot of the libraries will have kids programs, keep the kids busy when it's something to do on the break. So I'm just going to keep filling in all of this background here, and then I'm going to start painting in the cabin. When I do my background, I like it to be a little messy, and I don't want to overblend my paint. I want to see different values of the white and the blue. Sometimes the stroke matter, and I will tell you that, but a lot of times they don't. I feel like and this was a conversation I had with people this weekend. I feel like we should be moving on to spring. I don't know. What do you think? Should we be painting spring already? I'll tell you what. It is freezing here. I'm going to pick up a little bit of dark blue and add it up into here. It is freezing. It poured rain yesterday. The wind is hawking like you wouldn't believe. It's like a freight train's coming through. I would not compare it to a tornado. We don't live in a tornado area, and I would hate to downplay a tornado, but it is loud. I was hoping that I wouldn't have a problem um, internet, and so far, so good. There we go. So I just picked up a little bit of this dark true blue on the corner of my brush and some of the baby blue, and I'm working it in so the top of my sky and up here in the top of my sled is a little bit darker, and as it comes down here it gets lighter. And I'm going to wash my brush. Who's off from their 9 to 5 today? Anyone? Bueller. Oh, sorry. Just curious. And I'm just going to pick up white. It's a little bit of blue in it. I don't care. And I'm going to come down here. We're going to fix this later, but I'm going to do the first layer of the snow. That's why I'm going to do one layer, and then I'm going to come back and do a second layer later, because this is snow-covered ground right here. I'm getting a little bit of blue in my white. That's okay. Blue in snow, a little bit of light blue in snow gives it highlights and shadowing. We don't want our snow to just be blah, white. And I'm just doing the first coat because these sleds suck up the paint. There you go. The kits, this is an 18-inch sled. The kits that are on my website are only 12-inch. So they're a little bit more manageable. I have the runners on this one. And then this part goes up here like this. I guess I could keep it together but it comes apart. It's 3D. See that? It's an actual sled. But it comes apart so you can store it flat. So if you don't want to have it out all year, it's a sled. You take off the runners. You take off, this was the steering back in the day, right? And you can store it flat wherever you store things. So I'm putting out a little brown. I have my white. This is not a very big palette, you guys. I'm going to keep the white on my brush, and I'm going to start painting in the base coat to my cabin. A little bit more white. I'm going to mix this with a little brown, but again, I'm just base coating now. Go around the door. It doesn't matter if you get any on the door, because the door is going to be black. And I'll show you why. I just had to get out a little bit more white paint. And up we go. Now this is just base coating. When I think of painting, I came up with an analogy recently that painting is like pizza. It is a layering process. You start with your dough, which is the surface. Then you put on the sauce, which is the start of the base coat. Then you put on, oops, painted my door. Then you put on the elements, which is the cheese. And then once you have the base of your pizza done, the dough and the sauce and the cheese, then you add the toppings, and that is the details. The details, the shading and the highlights, and all the things that make your art come to life. So now I'm going to pick up some brown, and I'm going to start painting in here a little bit of brown. Not too much. My brush is still full of white. And I'm just coming in here. You want these strokes to be vertical because we're going to pretend like our cabin is wood grain. Sometimes when you're up here on a diagonal, it's a little hard to the top strokes diagonal without messing up your art, but do the best you can because you're close to the edge, but then you want to pull all your strokes straight and vertical. So you need to come up here and get filled in, but then you want to do that, okay? I'm going to pick up a lot of brown, and I'm going to do the roof. And I'm just following in my marks I drew. You can eyeball it. I actually used a ruler. I didn't use a ruler to measure. I just used the ruler for the straight edge because you guys, if you've been watching me, you know I don't use a ruler to measure. I eyeball everything, and my husband says I have the eye of a dead eagle. So that just goes to tell you how straight my stuff is and how much I don't care. I guess if I was doing a pattern or something that had to be completely symmetrical, I would care. But at this point, I don't. So I just, I'm just going to go off my brush because I still need to the white and the brown. Fix this a little bit. I didn't go into the water. Okay. So now I have the base of my cabin done. I'm going to load my brush with this dark brown, and I'm going to now put in some wood grain. I'm using my brush on the chisel edge, and I'm just lightly putting in these vertical lines to make the front of my cabin or my shed or whatever it is look like faux wood. Okay, there we go. And I'm going to wash my brush. And I would say we're almost done building our pizza. We're almost done with the crust or the dough and the sauce and the cheese. I'm going to pick up some white. I'm going to come down here. I'm going to do the second coat of white while I let my shed here dry. I'm going to come down here. Now, if you wanted to work on one thing at a time and use a heat gun or a dryer, go right ahead. I like to move around. I feel like it helps my projects go a little quicker. And I talk about all the time how I help you do quick and simple projects. Sometimes we don't have a lot of time for ourselves, right? Maybe we have 15, 20 minutes, 30 minutes, 10 minutes. And so we want to create or do something. So when I'm painting, I show you guys tips and tricks to be a little quicker. One of the best tips I give quicker with your art, and this one took me a while to get, and it takes others a while to get. One of the best tricks, you have to let go of trying to be perfect. You have to let go of comparing yourself, trying to be perfect, trying to have your art look like my art or somebody else's art. It's not going to. My art most of the time doesn't even look like my art if I paint the same thing twice. And you have to just let it go. Creating. Now, of course, if you have a small business, and I have a small business, but if you have a small business, yes, you want to make nice things. It's supplement your income, or it is your income, or whatever. But if you just want to create, and you're creating for yourself, and even for your business, it's not about the finished project. It's about the feeling you get when you are in fact creating. I like to paint and create. I'm recently into junk journaling. On Saturday, I did a live in the Crafty Bunch. It was Pocket Full of Posies, paper crafting. And I spent an hour playing with tape and paper and glue. And like I said, it's not always about the finished project. it is about the feelings and how you can rest your mind when you are creating. There's my door. Is my door a little crooked? Looks a little crooked up here. I'll fix it. Just a little bit. How's that? Is that better? Okay. Now I'm going to try something here. I've used this straw, and while I'm waiting for other things, I've used this straw. This is a regular plastic straw. See, it's got that thing on it. And I cut it up into all these little fringes. And I use this for flowers. I'm going to try something else today. I'm going to put out a little bit of paint because I'm waiting for this to dry. Now, wait for this to dry. I'm going to get this. I'm twirling it around in the paint. And I'm going to see if I can make, yes, I can, snowflakes. You guys, look how cool that is. A simple little straw. And if I made it shorter and smaller, they would be smaller. Oh my God, I love it. So while I was waiting to come live today, I started organizing my stuff over here. I have this one. I have another one. Oh yeah, I have this one. See? So this one, same straw, different color, same straw. But this one I only cut down maybe a half an inch and made those things on it. This one, I'm tapping it. Oh, the paint's coming off, but that's okay. Oh, this one doesn't work as well. Maybe it's not bent right. Yeah, this one's not bent right. This one I'd have to like push all these down. But there we go. If I do this and I push on them, it works. But anyway, so this one makes bigger flowers. You can see I cut further down on the straw. This one I cut less down on the straw. And I think this one is bent too much. So when I push it on, anyway, I digress. But that works. I made some really cool snowflakes. I'm excited about that. I am excited about that. All right. Back to business here. Washing my brush. Mama P, if you're still here, can you tell me? And I'm sorry, I apologize. Don't get me in trouble. Do I have 45 minutes or an hour? Or if anybody's watching, do I have 45 minutes or an hour? If you're watching in the Crafty Bunch, when the next person is up, all you have to do is refresh the page. If you are on my page, I will put the link to the Crafty Bunch. You can hop over there. I love the Crafty Bunch. There is a bunch of us creatives and artists in there. And we do special events like this one and others. And it is a way to share our art. I am a firm believer in community over competition. And that's what the Crafty Bunch is all about. It is a free group here on Facebook where we like to come in, be together, and share stuff. Good morning, Wanda. And share our projects, our crafts with you. If it brings you to watch some of us or even try some of the things that we are creating, that's what this is all about. So now if you see, I'm just messily painting some white up here. I want the roof to be snow covered, and I'm applying the paint a little thick and jagged on the bottom and the top. So I use the corner of my brush and I push up and down, and we're getting quite a bit of snow cover on that roof. Okay, that's still a little wet. I am going to get my dryer because I want to show you what's peeking out from the door. So this is a 3D 18-inch sled. I do have kits on my website at the Silhouette Spot, but those sleds are only 12 inches for two reasons. Price point, shipping, and then so newbies and beginners are not overwhelmed with such a big surface. I don't want my peeps to be overwhelmed. And again, like I said before, sometimes we only have like 15 or 20 minutes and we want to paint something and you want to accomplish something in a 15 or 20 minutes on the 12-inch. You could do the entire background, let it dry, and then come back later to do all the details. So that's my kits, my art kits on canvas, 9 by 12. And then my sleds are the 12 inch. And most of my wood would be a 12-inch surface or something smaller. Because I want you guys to feel accomplished. I want you to feel successful. I want you to feel like you started something and it was worth your while. As moms, wives, employees, whatever has it, we got our energy and our focus going a million different ways, right? At least a million. And then sometimes we need some time for ourselves. And you know what? Maybe that's only 15 or 20 minutes. And if you have a little art kit, junk journal kit, paint kit, ready to go, open it up and you are ready. Comes with everything you need. Voila, bam, you're ready to go. Okay. So we're just putting a little bit of a snowman in there. All right. I'm going to take the back of one of my brushes here and I'm going to give him some buttons. When we do the buttons on the snowman, I don't put them straight down. I put them in a curve. That helps the illusion that our snowman is round. I'm going to get some brown paint here and I'm going to give him one arm and then 2 arms. Okay. Wash my brush. I'm going to put out a little bit of orange, just a tad. Get my orange paint. I'm rolling my liner brush in my orange paint. I'm putting down a lot of pressure. But then I'm going to slide. And as I slide, I'm going to start lifting up my brush, lifting up my brush, lifting up my brush to make a point. Okay. Use the back of my brush again. And I'm going to give him 2 little beady snowman eyes. I have to look at something because I need to know how long I have today. So 1 second. 45 minutes. Okay, beauty. All right, we're good. We're totally good. All right, so I did the buttons. I did the beady eyes. When I do the mouth, our mouth is made out of coal. So I don't want to use the back of my brush. I want to use this front of my brush because I don't want my lines to be perfect. I mean, my dots to be perfect. I want my buttons and my eyes to be perfect, but I don't want the dots of my mouth to be perfect. So I use the brush portion. So then it looks more like coal. They're a little less perfect. They're just a little shapes on there. Then I need a color. You know what? I'm just going to use my dark blue. I'm going to give him a scarf. So I do a backwards 3 and a frontwards 3. And then I get them and paint. So on one side I do a backwards 3. On the other side I do a frontwards 3. This way our scarf, it doesn't just look like a big rectangle. And kind of scoop it under the neck. And then I'm going to make the fringes coming down. There we go. I'm going to pick up a tiny bit of white and blend that in here just to give our scarf a little bit of character. And there we go. So our snowman is hiding in the cabin. And now I'm going to put out some green. I got some medium green. And then I'm going to put out some really light green. What is this? Oh, this is matcha. So I want a dark to medium green and then a light green. If I didn't have a light green, I would just add some white to my green, but I have a light green. So I'm going to use it. And so I have out my two greens. I'm going to go back to my little liner brush that I'm using and get my dark green. And I'm going to put one trunk, two trunks, and these trunks don't really matter. They're just for placement. We're not really going to see them. And I'm going to put a little black in, give them a little bit of shadow in there, but you're really not going to see them. I know that doesn't make any sense, but it does. Okay. And I'm going to go back to my medium brush. And I pretty much paint everything with a large flat. Let me show you, which is usually about 1 inch. I will paint almost everything with a large flat brush and then a smaller medium flat brush. I am starting to expand my brushes, but I can pretty much do anything that I want to do with these brushes. And then I'll use this long liner brush or the short one like I've been using. And this is pretty much how I paint everything. I mean, I have different sizes, different textures. Some brushes are stiffer than others. These brushes are from Diverse Woodworking, but I also love these brushes from Plaid Folk Art Crafts. And like this is a number 16. Let me show you. This is a number 16 in Diverse, but this is a 1 inch in Diverse, and they're the same in Plaid, and they're almost the same size. A 16. Do I have a 16? Yeah, this is a 16 in Plaid, and they're not even close. What I'm saying is that brush sizes are not universal, you guys. So if you're listening to someone like me or anybody else, and they are telling you that they are using a number 16, I'm just pouncing. I'm using my brush on the chisel edge, and I'm just pouncing. They're telling you they're using a number 16 or number 12 or number 3 or whatever size brush. Look at the size of it. Look at compared to their fingers, their hands, their project, whatever it is, because brush sizes are not universal. A number 16 in one brand is not a number 16 in another brand. So I will usually say my finger, my thumb, my pointer, whatever it is, because brush sizes are not like under weights and measurements, like ounces are ounces and pounds are pounds and kilograms are kilograms. That's not how they work. So if you're looking for a particular size brush, you may not find it if you're looking for the same number. So you really have to go by size. And I'm just tapping in to the paint down here and coming back. It's okay to leave some in between the pine trees. They can be a bare. I got a little paint on there. It's all right if you see through them. Now I'm going back and I'm picking up the light green. If you fill them all in completely, that's fine, but you don't have to. It's a pine tree, and you will be able to sometimes see through it. And this is also why I said you won't really see the trunk, but you kind of do. And add in that black just lets you know where it is. And again, we're going to have to let this dry because we're going to add some snow. It wouldn't seem natural if we had snow on our rooftop, but not on our trees, right? And you can put as many trees down here. Hello, Gracie. How are you, friend? Nice to see you. All right. I could put some up here, a window. I could have made my door bigger. I don't know. We'll see. We shall see. For now, I'm just going to let it go. What I am going to do is get this brush, and I'm going to frame out my door. This is adding another little detail. I'm going to put a lot of pressure on my brush, just a little bit more detail to our door opening instead of just having this rectangle on the face of our little cabin or shed here, whatever it is. Giving it a little bit of some trim across the top and down both sides. I'm going to pick up a little bit of white and just add a little bit of white in here too. And across the top. But I'm going to add some snow to the top. Look, just adding that little box around the front of the shed there just made such a difference. Let me get my dryer. While I'm drying, I'm going to have a little sip of my iced coffee too. So today's event goes to tonight, Crafter's Choice. So we will all be surprised. You never know what you're going to see in the Crafty Bunch on Crafty Choice Day. I kicked it off with painting. On Saturday, if you want to go back, Saturday there was an event, a Crafty Bunch event, and it was paper crafting. If you missed how I made these cool snowflakes up here, you might want to go back and catch the replay. I'm also going to make a couple more little darker snowflakes in here. I like when you have snowflakes and they're all textures and different sizes. I'm going to take the back of my brush. And I'm just going to dot around every little arm. Can you guys hear the wind? It's scary. It's a little crazy. That's it. I'm just going to put 3 of those. But while I have my brush, I'm trying not to put my arm in my paint. I'm going to come up here. And I'm going to add some snow to the corner on the top of this door frame, like I did up top on the roof. The paint is a little thick. My brush is wonky. Okay, the paint is a little thick. And it kind of piles up in the corner and then gets thinner across the top. And I don't want straight edges. You want them all uneven because it's snow. Some of it melted, some of it blew away. And there we go. Okay. I'm going to go back to my other brush before. So now I'm going to get the medium-sized brush that I used for the trees. I'm going to pounce it in my white a little bit, not too much. And I'm going to come in here, I'm going to start adding some white to the trees. Some of it I'm pouncing a little bit heavier, some a little lighter. And this way our trees have a little bit of snow on them. This one has this one in the front, this little one in the front. So I'm only going to then put some on this side here. This one will have the whole thing. If you get to the point where you put way too much white, you can go back and put green. It's okay. It's paint. You can fix anything. Some of it I want a little thicker, so I'm coming back. Little tips. There we go. Let me wash my brush. Okay. Now, we want to add a little bit of snow. Thank you, Gracie. We want to add a little bit of snow just to the tops of his branches for his hands. Not the whole thing, just where snow would land. So on the crooks, all right, we're going to add a little bit of snow to the top of his nose. I'm going to add a little tiny highlight to each button and each eye. Can you see that? There we go. Okay. I'm going to come in here. I'm going to add a little bit of white to our wood grain. I love doing these on my website and my Etsy. I have what is it, 3, 4? I have 4 villages that I have painted. One is Christmas themed, one is fall themed, and one is spring, and one is summer. And I'm working on that collection. I have those 4 done already. I'm going to be adding just a straight winter one that is not Christmas themed. And then I want to add like more of a New England one. Maybe, I was in Savannah a couple of weeks ago. I'm going to work on a Savannah one. All right, now my snow is dry. I'm just going to come here and I'm picking up a little bit of white and the blue, and I'm painting in like a frowny face. I want to make some, I don't know what that is. Oh, that's from my straw. I want to make some hills. I'm doing with the blue and the white. Set back in these tree trunks, and different colors of the blue and the white, making it look hilly. We don't want our snow down here to be just bleh, flat, wet, white. Okay? So every stroke is like a little bit of an arc. I have some blue on my brush and some white on my brush. And this is just making it look a little bit more textured. I'm setting my, I picked up some green there, my trunks behind it, and need more white. This gives us a little bit, that's from my straw, a little bit more movement, a little bit more character down here in our snow. Okay. I'm going to turn this around. I'm going to come up here to the top of my sled. I'm going to paint this. This way I can put some snowflakes on that as well, and you'll be able to see them because it's blue. And this way you can see what the top of the sled looks like too. So these sleds have runners. And then they have this steering. Who had a sled like this when they were growing up? I did. What's it called? A red flyer? Yeah. A good friend of mine, a new good friend of mine, just gave me 4 old sleds, actual sleds to paint. So I'm really excited about that. She gave them to me before Christmas. And I was like, yeah, I'm not going to get to them. So 2 I'm going to paint for her and give them back. And then 2 I get to do whatever I want with. So I am really excited about that. I got a little bit of blue on my runners. So I'm just going to paint that over. Now these runners and this steerer pop off. These sleds lay flat. I get these sleds at Diverse, but if you want to paint on one of these sleds, I have these kits on my website. Actually, they have this design. It's a little bit different with the colors. I have a couple of designs, but this is one of them. Put up my. Now, if I wanted to, let me use a bigger brush. I can do the same snowflakes I did at the top of that one. Or I can just come in and add dots to the top of this for snowflakes. Both of these, I will take a piece of twine when this is dry and put it in these holes. That's what you used. I don't know if you grew up, probably if you grew up anywhere in the rural parts of this country back in the day, you had a sled like this and it had those strings in it because that's what you used, either your feet or the strings, to steer. You can glue this together if you wanted to, or you can leave it so when you want to pack it away, it just pops apart and packs flat. Ooh. Turn you guys around again. Beep, beep, beep. Beep, 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 beep. And there we go. What do you guys think? I want to take my little brush and add a little bit more snow up here. I'm not going to do it everywhere, but you can see, now that I'm adding snow, you can see where it's more and where it's less. And I think that's good. It's different textures. Some of it's thick, some of it's not so thick. And I think that just adds a little bit more. But you have to wait for your paint to dry to do this. Otherwise, you'll just keep blending it and blending it and blending it. And I could do the same thing with the trees. I can just come in here and I can just add a little bit more snow to the tops and maybe the tips of the branches. If you want less snow, that's totally fine. It's your art, your way. I just like having the different values of white in there where some of the snow looks real heavy. Thank you. And some of it is a little bit lighter. And there we have it. So this is my sled with my snowman. My snowman needs something. He can't have a hat though because it would be black, but I think maybe he does need, maybe if I do a straight black hat and a little one, you'll be able to see it. And this way I can too add a little bit of snow to the top of his hat. Let's see. Even though it's black on black, can you see that? Not really. So I'm going to take some blue. I'm going to add a blue stripe to that. And then I'm going to add a little bit of white to his hat. I can see it. You can't see it on the screen, but I can see it in person. There we go. A little bit more white there. There we go. Anyway, let me turn you guys around. Dun, 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 dun. Let me see if I don't know if I can pick it up. And here we go. Thank you. He could have wore a beanie hat. That's right. I'm gonna fix it. You know why? Because it's paint and you can fix anything. Thanks for joining me, everyone. Have a great day. If you're watching from the Crafty Bunch, hit refresh. If you're watching on my page, hop over to the Crafty Bunch and enjoy the rest. Thanks for joining.